we are going to end up with this setup. We will have this login page. So actually, if you press the login button, nothing will happen. But if we enter some credentials, say ASD, sorry, it's ASD, nothing will happen. But if I enter the right credentials, admin and pass, I'm going to be logged in. So there is a H1 tag which says hello from mine. When I refresh, I will stay right here, but if I go to this our special controller Auth with the argument logout, press enter, and when I refresh the main page, I will be again in the login part. Let us see our UML schema. UML is actually a schema pattern which represents our business logic, the logic of our application. I'm using Argo UML, which is one very good UML editor. So if you don't know for what it is about, it is better to read some materials about the UML schemas. Okay, so this is our controller part and this is our view part. In our controller we have two classes, the index class and the auth class. We have one help class which is session class. In the view controller we have two views. In the view part we have two views, main view and login view. Actually the login view is what you see when you are not logged in, and the main view is what you see when you are logged in. Okay, so what we have in our index class, we have a special variable named template. We have a special variable session, it's of type session, and we have one method which is called is logged in, and it returns the boolean result whether the user is logged in or is not logged in. In our auth class we have this special variable session of type session. We have two methods, login and logout. Actually from our login view, the view from which we enter our credentials, the credentials are sent to our auth class, and our auth class will decide whenever to make some changes to make the user to be logged in, and whenever the auth class only will redirect the user to the index class, and the index class will make decision if it will show the login view, the main view. This decision is made in case the method is logged in, returns true. Actually when the user is logged in, the user will see the main page, the main content. So actually today we are not going to talk about what is MVC, what is HMVC, what about controllers or views. Today we are going to make this setup work. We will make it work with a session, which is a special feature of Kohana, and we will make our session work with a database. Okay, let's download the Kohana framework. Go to Google, type Kohana. Here is the website, kohanaframework.org. Download version 3.3.0, which is stable version. Okay, I will download it with my free download manager. Zip archive, no. Okay, perfect. It will be downloaded in just a few seconds. Actually, I will extract the downloaded file in my htdocs folder. Okay, press Ctrl C, go to www, Ctrl Vim. So let us close this one. Right now we have our Kohana copied in our folder. So I will go to my local server. I will go to Kohana project. This is the page you initially see when you install Kohana. Actually, this green one is very important. Your environment, password requirements, remove or rename the install.php file now. Okay, let us go right there. Install PHP, delete, and refresh. Oops. Kohana exception. A valid cookie salt is required. Please set cookie salt. Okay, let us copy this message. Perfect. Go to Google and search for this message. Okay. Okay, in Bootstrap, after the I18N, do cookie salt and place your salt here. Right now I will copy this one. In the next lesson I think that it will be okay to talk about the file structure, but for now let us see what's here. We have an application, module, system and vendor folders in our Kohana folder. So I will go to application. There is our Bootstrap file. Basically the Bootstrap file is the file which is executed every time the user made any request to Kohana. So basically we have to find this one, I18N, and we have to place the sentence we copied from the website right over here, and we have to place here our salt. So we will name this is our salt. Let us add underscores. Perfect. Save it and refresh. Okay, hello world. So this is our Kohana project up and running. This hello world, it comes from application, classes, controller folder, and some controller which name is welcome. Let us see what's in it. Actually it's a controller welcome, which extends controller, one function which is action index, and this response body hello world. This response is the special response object of the controller class, and the body is a special variable of this class which content is what is shown on the user screen. Okay, so we will need to get rid of this welcome class, so we are going to rename it to index. This will be our index controller. So let us edit our index. Instead of welcome, we have to write controller index, and there is something very interesting about this. We will use a class which will extend not the controller class but the controller template class, which is a controller class with very sophisticated template functions. Actually, in this class we have to possess this special variable which name is template. It's a public variable template, and it contains the name of the main content. Okay, so far so good, but when you fire your Kohana, actually it will look for its welcome class. So this one we will correct in our Bootstrap class, right in the bottom where our root is set. So the root says that everything that comes in the Kohana class have to be pointed to controller which name is welcome, but our controller will be named index. Perfect. Save and test. Okay, perfect. The request view mine could not be found because we pointed our controller to a view file which name is mine. Sorry, its name will not be mine but will be named my view. But right now we have to create our my view file. So this is done in application views folder. Right button, new text. Okay, my view.php. Nothing special about this view. It will be only L1 H1 tag in it. which will say hello from my page. Refresh, and we are in our main page. One other thing. When the user comes to our Kohana, I don't want the user to have access to all the files in the Kohana. So I will make something different. I will move our Kohana one level down, right over here. I will rename this folder to Kohana FRM. I will copy this index file, which is the main file which the user sees when it comes to this folder, and we'll make another folder right over there in www folder. We'll name this KAPP, like Kohana Auth, and we'll place our index file here. One other thing we need is our htaccess file, and this is the file which will redirect every user request to our index file. So you can find the content of the htaccess file anywhere in the Google. You can Google it, but right now I will use the one I already built for my project previously. Just a second, it will be not here, not here, not here. Here, of course, htaccess, and I will place it right over there. So two things we have to edit. Our index file is the one thing, the other thing in the WAMP Kohana FRM application bootstrap.php file. So in index file we have to point our Kohana requests where the my Kohana web files are. So let me see where this is. Our index file. We have to go 2 levels down because right now the user request is made here in the KAPP folder. One down is to www and one down is to WAMP, and there is this Kohana FRM folder. So I will collect this one like this, and Kohana FRM. This is the application folder. This is the models folder. This is the system folder. Okay, perfect. I'll save this. And in the bootstrap file, okay, our base URL is changed from /Kohana to /k_app. Okay. Let's check what's going on. Nothing's going on here because it still looks for URL Kohana. This one is made in our bootstrap. Of course, here's my mistake. I have to point not to Kohana but to KApp folder, and so voila, hello from my page. So what I did, actually I have this KApp folder. In it I have only one index.php file, and every file from my application is moved 2 levels down in our Kohana FRM folder application. So basically we protected our file from intruders, all our files. So actually I have this so previously I made this login with some CSS and some HTML. It looks like that. Just one second. It looks like that, and based on this template I will make my login view template. Okay, perfect. Let me take this CSS folder. I will copy in our in our app folder, and after that in our application folder in the view I will make copy of this main view and we will name it in view. Perfect. Let me edit this and let me edit this. I will copy all of this right over there. Perfect. So let us see how it looks in our controller, classes, controller, index page. I will comment this one in view vault, not my view, but login view. Okay. Refresh, everything's okay. So far so good. Okay. So let us see what's happening in this. Login view. It is right over there in our application views. Login view. Perfect. So we have this form. In this form we have two fields which are input type text, username, and input type password. We have one simple JavaScript which fires on vault and it takes focus of our template to element with ID username, which is our username field. Okay, let me refresh it. So when the user refreshes, the focus is always in username field. Okay, let us go back to the form. This form is pointed to our auth login. What is this? Actually, the auth is the name of the controller auth, which we will make just in few seconds, and the login is the function of this auth controller. So let us go back to our application classes controller. We will make copy of index. We will name it to auth. Perfect. So let us edit the auth. Because it will be controller auth, but it will not extend the controller template. It will extend only the controller, so it doesn't need this special variable template. I will delete this. Okay, perfect. So actually our controller will not need the index with not the action with the name index, but it will need an action with the name login. We will say that this one is send out. Perfect. And it will need one action with the name, of course, logout. Perfect. We'll delete this so it will be prettier this way. Okay, right now we have our controller auth with the name, with the action login. So our form will point to this auth login. Perfect. So the next thing to do is to make our Kohana framework to work with database. How it's done? So we have to go to our application config folder, and there must be just a second, in our bootstrap file, which is in the application folder. Perfect. Right in the bottom there is this array of modules which have to be implemented in order to be awarded in Kohana. So I uncomment the database module. Save this. One other thing is that in application config folder there must be a database.php file, which is actually essentially the configuration of the database functionality of the Kohana framework. But there is no file here, so I have to take the file which is already done for me. The position is in Kohana FRM. Modules, of course, Kohana FRM, modules, database, config, and there is database.php file. Actually there is one other interesting file which I will need in a few minutes, session.php, so I'll copy these two files. I'll go to Kohana FRM application config folder. I will place both files there and we'll edit them. So, database. Essentially, here are the credentials for the database login, with which credentials our Kohana FRM framework will connect to our database. So, it will need a host name, a database name, username, password, and the option if the database is persistent or no. Actually, this is the default connection. The alternate connection we will not use, so I'm gonna delete it. Perfect. Okay, so let us go in our web server, phpMyAdmin. I will create a new database, which name will be k_app. Perfect. Create. So I have k.app database. I will add a new user. I will name it k_app_user. We'll copy this to database configuration. Username. Right now, database k_app. Host will be localhost and the password will be something like perfect. I will copy this one back in the password field and we'll say that the connection to our database server will be made only from the localhost. Okay, perfect. Database for the user. No database for the user. New user button. Okay. These are users with access to only the KApp database, which actually our user right now doesn't have. So I'm going to the home button, users button, and our KApp user, edit, and I will change the user rights for the KApp database. Execution. Okay, I will add select, insert, date and delete options. Go. And one other thing, the users reload. Perfect. Right now I have my database and I have my user which have a right to connect to this database. I will save our database configuration file. One other thing, in the session file actually there are some options that must be set in order to work with our database, with our sessions which will record their data in the database. So one other thing, we must make our session table in the database so the session will work flawlessly. And for this we will go to Google and we will search for this Kohana sessions Kohana user guide. Perfect. And from here I will take the structure of the database, which is right in the bottom. Okay, perfect. So I will place this right into the SQL, MySQL. We will execute it, and right now in the KApp database I have this session table. Perfect. Okay, so let us check what's going on. If we refresh our main page, let us check in the session table. Oh, nothing's happened here. Why is that? Because basically we need to create our session in order to have something written in our session database. So in our index controller I will add this special variable which will be private. Its name is session, and I will make this special method which name is function before. So what Kohana says about this special method. Actually, the method before is executed right before the execution of the index method of every controller class. So it's a confident place to place everything that must be done in order to initialize the class. So right here I must call this one magical method, which is the parent method of the parent class, the class which is extended by our index controller. And to another thing, I must initialize our session, so I will say this session your session is special object instance. Okay, let us check what's going on. I refresh, I will check again. Okay, so in our Kohana user guide, it's written that the default adapter can be set by changing the value of session default. Default adapter is active, but actually in our session configuration file we are set the data only for a database type of adapter. So in our index.php file we have to add this. Right before the instantiation of the session. It's a session, sorry, default database. Okay, perfect. So I will refresh our main page, check the sessions, and so this is our session. So when a user comes to our application, a session is made for this user, and the session variables are encrypted and saved in these content fields. So let us talk about this. Why do we need this session? Because when a user goes to any page, the page will check if the user is authenticated, and how is done by the session. So when the users come in our login page, here you type its username and the password, basically its credentials. Our old class will make some decision. In case of right credentials, it will fire its login method, and it will save the user sessions with some data. And every time the user is going to page of our framework, the page will check if the user is logged in, and whenever the user is or is not logged in, the class will make decision to show one template, one view or another. So basically, right now our framework is working with database and our framework is working with sessions. So what's next? Let us write the functionality of our old class. The old class, the user comes after he enters his credentials, and the credentials are set to, just a second, I will close this one. So okay, application, classes, controller, auth, perfect. So we must copy all of this, because our old class also needs a method for initialization of our session variable. Actually, we will need this initialization. We will need to declare our session variable. Perfect. So in the logout, actually in the login part, I must take the credentials of the user which are coming from the form, and this is done by the special Kohana object which name is request. I can access this object like this syntaxis, this request, and this object have a special method which name is post. In parentheses I must type the name of the variable I'm expecting and that one for the password. So I must assign this to my local variables which have to be named. Username, no, they don't have to be named like this. I'm naming this for convenience, and password. So first let us see what we have. Username, password. In that way I will check if everything is coming in the right shape in the Auth class. Perfect. Refresh this. Right, ASD and ZXC. Okay, perfect. In our Auth class I have ASD and ZXC. Perfect. So I have the variables which are coming from our login view. So when I have these credentials, I have to do something with that, but because this tutorial is very essential, I will just check if the values of these variables are just concrete values. So I will make this check if username equals admin and equals pass. Actually you will never make something like this in your practice because usually the username and the passwords are saved in database, and for security reasons the password is not saved in the database in the plain view. The password is encoded, so when the user types his username and the password is encoded again, and the encoded string is compared to the encoded string saved in the database. So this is very basic thing. So actually, what if username equals admin and the password equals pass? In this way we will set our session variable session, and there is special method set, and in the parentheses we have to quote the name of our session variable, which is logged in. Say it's logged in. Perfect. And true. We will set the true in our session variable logged in. And after that I will need to redirect the user to our index file. So the index file will decide what to do next. Actually, this is the work the Auth class action a login must do. It must set the session variable. For redirecting to the other class, we have this special method which is HTTP. Redirect. This HTTP class actually has a method to redirect, and in the parentheses we have to type where to redirect the user. So this is our login method. In our logout method, actually we have to destroy our session. So just I will just copy this method, but we will replace the method set with the method delete. So this session delete the variable which name is logged in, and for convenience as I will show this little message log out, so I know that I am logging out. So far so good. This is for our Auth page. Let us go back to our index page. So now index page we just make our session. Okay, perfect. Our session is initialized, and we have this index method. Actually, I will not use this index method, we will just delete it. I will move the parentheses here, and I will make this special method which is logged in, it's a private method. Logged in, not is logged in. Perfect. Is logged in. Just a second. Okay. So this method will return the content of our session. Just a second. It's this session. And the special method get, we will get the content of the variable logged in. So when this method is fired, it will return true or false. True if the logged in content is true, false in any other way. So in our before function, there we will make decision which template we will show. If that template will be the main template, which name is main view, and we will show the main view if anything is going on here. But here will be this special check, which is if, and this method is logged in. Okay, it's not equal to true. In that case, we will change the default template. The template login view. Perfect. So what's going on here? If this is logged in, not equals to true. Actually, this means that we are not logged in this situation. The main controller index will show the template login view. Else, it will show the template main page. Perfect. Let's reload our main page. Okay, what's going on here? Syntax error, unexpected t-string, private is logged in, return private function, of course. I missed in the index file, I missed the keyword function. Save, reload. Public template, of course, we don't have to copy everything, just the template part. Okay, hello from main page. This means that we are logged in. We are logged in here in the index. Okay, let us here in the index we are logged in, so this one is not fired up, and the index file just shows our main view. So we have to make a request to our auth page to the logout method, action logout. So we will unlogged in auth logout. Okay, it says logout. In the action logout there is destroying of the session variable and echoing of this string logout. So in our main page there is a problem because our main page continues to show our main view. So actually the problem is right here. Let me check what's wrong right here. Okay, here's the problem. The template is not a local variable for this function. The template is a variable of scope of the class, so I have to address it with this keyword. Let me refresh. So, here's the problem. Actually, I cannot just point the template variable to point to another template's name. I have to make this template, and this in Kohana is made by a class which name is view, the method's name is factory, and in parentheses I say which is the class name. So, okay, perfect. Okay, let us check if everything is okay. I'm typing ASD login. Oops, what's going on here? Let us check in our address bar. There is redirection to this special index.php file. So we have to open our bootstrap file. In our bootstrap file we have to say Kohana that we will not use that index.php file and we must get rid of it. So this is done in this special Kohana init part. This is init method of Kohana which takes as argument an array. Actually we have this variable base URL which equals k_app, so our framework knows where our application is, but there must be one else variable which name is index file, and it must equal to false. So Kohana will know that we will not use this index.php file. So one more time, asd login, nothing happens, admin pass hello from main page. I will go again to the auth logout and will refresh. When refreshing, I'm going to the main page. I think that this is enough for today's lesson. It went to 40 minutes. Next time we will talk about Kohana. About Kohana's file structure, we will talk about MVC and HMVC. We will talk about controller names. Why is this underscore array over here? And we will talk about roots, which places in the bottom part of our bootstrap. Okay, bye from me.